I want to start today with a specific number from the source material that, honestly, it made me freeze up for a second. Less than 1 second.
That's basically the blink of an eye.
Literally. The research we're looking at today claims that's how long it takes for someone to decide if you're competent, if you're trustworthy, or if you're worth ignoring.
And the kicker is, they make that call before you even open your
That's
mouth.
exactly. It's all based on your physical signal.
It's a terrifying thought, right?
Yeah.
Especially for anyone who likes to think, hey, I'm a rational person. I judge people on their merits, their complex inner lives.
Of course.
But this deep dive is really about the biology behind that judgment. We're decoding aesthetics. And I know that word, for a lot of people, it conjures up like Instagram influencers or high fashion.
Things that have nothing to do with real life.
Right. And that's the first thing we have to clear up. The source we're covering, the Archetypes, which is this really fascinating module from a broader aesthetics course. It isn't about being trendy. It argues aesthetics is actually a communication protocol.
It's a language.
It's the hidden language, exactly. And the core question this poses to you, the listener, is, you're broadcasting a signal 24/7, whether you like it or not. Is that signal clear? Or is it? Is it just static?
So, okay, we've got this guide. It links men's style to military history, to psychology, and these three very specific frameworks they call archetypes.
Mm-hmm.
But before we get to the solution, I kind of want to push back on the premise, because the source makes a pretty aggressive claim right at the start. It says we're living in a comfort culture.
A comfort culture that's basically neutered our ability to communicate.
Yeah.
It sounds harsh, I know, but if you look around, it's kind of accurate. The default uniform of the modern man is what the text calls the uniform of apathy.
T-shirts, ill-fitting jeans, hoodies.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, the author isn't saying comfort is evil, but they're arguing that we've confused comfort with carelessness.
But I think that's where a lot of people would argue back, though.
Right.
Like, if I'm a software engineer or I work from home,
Yeah.
why does any of this matter? If
Yeah.
I'm comfortable, doesn't that make me work better?
You would think so, but the science actually says otherwise. The source gets into this with a concept called enclothed cognition.
Enclothed cognition. Okay, that definitely sounds like a textbook term. Let's break that down.
It is, but it's really just the technical phrase for you feel how you dress. There's this famous study where researchers put people in a white lab coat.
Okay.
Half the group was told it was a doctor's coat. The other half was told it was a painter's smock. And the people who thought it was a doctor's coat, they actually performed way better on cognitive tests.
Wait. So the clothes were physically identical,
Identical.
but the meaning attached to them literally changed their brain chemistry.
Precisely.
Yeah.
So when you put on sweatpants to work from home, you're not just telling the world, I'm relaxing. You're signaling to your own brain, we're in rest mode now.
It lowers your cognitive RPMs.
It does. And the source argues that aesthetics is the antidote. It defines it not as beauty, but as awareness. It's about appreciating visual order.
Visual order. Okay, that's a key phrase from the text. It sounds a little abstract. How do we explain that?
Think of it like a messy room versus a clean room. A messy room creates this low-level anxiety, right? Your brain has to process all the chaos.
The sock on the floor, the crooked picture, all of it.
Yeah. A clean room feels calm. Humans are just wired to trust order and distrust chaos. So when a man's appearance is disjointed, clothes too big, colors clashing, he's visually noisy. When he's put together, he projects visual order. He feels safe to be around.
That actually bridges perfectly into the history lesson the source gives us, a section called From Battlefields to Boardrooms. I mean, I knew suits were formal, but I didn't realize they were basically camouflage for power.
Oh, it's a direct lineage. The source traces the modern suit all the way back to, like, Spartan armor and, more recently, military uniforms.
Right.
And think about what a uniform does. It's not just about covering your body. It conveys rank, discipline, competence. It tells you exactly where that person fits.
And it changes your physique, right?
Yeah.
The source talks about structured silhouettes.
Right. This is the biology part again. Why do we respect a man in a suit? A suit jacket is literally engineered to broaden the shoulders and taper the waist. It mimics the V-taper of a physically dominant male.
It's an evolutionary hack.
It is. It's communicating authority without noise. You don't have to scream, I'm in charge. The silhouette does it for you.
But today, we've kind of traded that in. The text has this great critique of what it calls the walking advertisement.
Ugh, yes. We aren't wearing armor anymore. We're wearing billboards.
This is one of the most savage takes in the whole document. It says, when you wear a giant logo across your chest, you are not expressing your identity. You are renting the brand's identity.
Renting status, that just hits hard.
It really does. It implies you don't have any status of your own, so you have to, what, borrow it from a sneaker company?
It should hit hard. It's dependency. You're hoping that if you wear the expensive logo, people will just transfer that value onto you. But true style, true aesthetics is about discernment. It's about you wearing the clothes, not the other way around.
So if we want to stop renting status and start building our own, we need a strategy. This is where the source introduces intentionality. It asks us to stop chasing trends.
And start building character. And the difference is crucial. Trends are designed by marketers to make you feel obsolete every 6 months. You're playing a game you will always lose.
Because the goalposts just keep moving?
Exactly. Character is permanent.
The source actually calls personalizing your wardrobe an act of rebellion. Which, I mean, it sounds dramatic for just buying a jacket, but maybe it is.
No, it is a rebellion. In an algorithmic world where Netflix tells you what to watch and TikTok tells you what to think, choosing how you present yourself is one of the last analog choices you have.
It's saying, I am an individual.
It is, but you can't just guess. You need a framework.
And enter the 3 archetypes.
Yeah.
This is really the practical meat of this whole deep dive. The source warns us, these aren't stereotypes. You're not cosplaying.
They're energy frameworks.
Right. We have the refined, the rugged, and the rakish. Let's break down the first one, the refined man.
Okay, the refined man. You should be thinking, modern statesman, James Bond in a casino, a high-level architect. The key word here is precision.
The text says, luxury is not a price tag, it is precision. What does that mean in practice? Because I think some listeners might hear that and just think, okay, go buy expensive suits.
Not at all. A $5,000 suit that fits poorly looks so much worse than a $300 suit that fits perfectly. The refined archetype is about the millimeter.
Okay.
It's about the sleeve showing just enough shirt cuff, the trousers having the right break over the shoe. It communicates, I pay attention to details, I'm in control.
So the vibe is calm power. What's the gear list?
Tailored jackets, for sure, but also high-quality knitwear, chinos that actually fit, Chelsea boots. The color palette is usually neutral navies, grays, charcoals. It's that whole quiet luxury thing.
Timeless.
Very timeless. If you look at a photo of a refined man from 1960 and today, they should look almost the same.
Okay, I'm going to play devil's advocate again. Not everyone wants to look like they're heading to a board meeting. What if my life is more hands-on? Or what if I just hate ironing?
I get it. And that brings us to archetype 2, the rugged man.
The craftsman or the athlete?
Exactly. Now, this is where a lot of men get it wrong. They hear rugged and they just think messy. They think it means dirty work boots and a torn shirt.
But the source is very specific.
Uh,
Command respect through competence. It is not sloppy.
Not at all. The refined man is about social order. The rugged man is about capability in the physical world. And the key here is materials. We're talking raw denim, heavy leather, flannel, canvas.
Why those materials specifically?
Because of how they age. This is a critical distinction. A suit that refined look should always look pristine. But a leather jacket, a pair of raw denim jeans, they get scratches, they fade, they mold to your body.
They develop a patina.
That's the word. And that patina tells a story of use. It signals, I do things, I am durable.
So it's functionality, but, and here's the catch, it's functionality mixed with intentionality.
Correct. You're not wearing the flannel because it was the only clean thing you had. You're wearing it because the fit emphasizes your shoulders and the fabric texture adds depth. It's grounded. It says you're ready for the elements.
And then we get to the third one, the one that really feels like the wild card. The rakish man.
The rakish man. This one is the most dangerous to pull off, but it has the highest reward. This is the rock star, the artist.
And the text defines this as social dominance through effortless individuality. So this is the guy in the floral shirt.
Sometimes. But rakish comes from the old term rake. It implies a bit of a rule breaker. The philosophy here is sprezzatura.
An Italian term.
Yeah, it means studied carelessness. It looks like you just threw it on, but actually every single piece is highly curated.
Studied carelessness. I love that. Give us the visual.
Okay, so unbuttoned shirts, maybe bold prints, statement eyewear, a scarf just loosely thrown on. Where the refined man follows the rules, the rakish man knows the rules so well that he breaks them on purpose.
He's signaling, I am interesting enough to get away with this.
You got it. It can be loud, sure, but it's about charisma. If the refined man controls the room with authority, The rakish man controls it with intrigue. He draws the eye and he holds it.
Okay, so we have the statesman refined, the craftsman rugged,
Yeah.
and the rock star rakish. But here's the problem a listener might have. I'm not just one of these guys. I'm a dad. I have a corporate job. I also go camping. Am I supposed to pick one lane and just stay there forever?
No, and the source is so clear about this. That's what it calls the costume trap.
The costume track.
Yeah, if you stick to one rigidly, you just become a caricature. The source uses this house analogy. Think of the archetypes as the architecture of a house. You can have a modern house, but you can furnish it with some rustic furniture.
Ah, so it's about fluidity.
Absolutely. In the real world, you mix them. Maybe on Tuesday for a client meeting, you're 80% refined, 20% rugged.
So a blazer, but with dark denim and boots.
Exactly. You're signaling professional but grounded. Or, date night. That might be the time to dial up the rakish a little bit.
So a leather jacket that's rugged over a bold patterned shirt rakish with a Chelsea boot refined.
Now you're getting it. It's like a mixing board in a recording studio. You're adjusting the faders depending on the room you're walking into. The intentional man knows which fader to slide up and when.
This all circles back to that core word again, intentionality. And the source says building a wardrobe this way is actually easier than people think. It solves the shopping mall paradox.
Oh, the paralysis of choice. We've all been there. You walk into a huge department store and everything is a possibility. Should I buy the neon green shorts? Maybe. Do I need a velvet vest?
You just get overwhelmed.
Totally. But once you know your archetypes, let's say you decide, I'm primarily rugged with a bit of refined, you instantly ignore 90% of the store.
You just walk right past the neon shorts.
Right past them. You stop looking at things that don't fit your visual language. You look for the best denim, the best boots. You stop being a consumer who's just gathering stuff, and you start being a curator.
Which has to save you money in the long run. You stop buying random things that just sit in your closet with the tag still on.
Exactly. It all connects back to that idea of rebellion through awareness. You aren't letting the store tell you what to buy. You're telling the store what you need.
I want to land the plane on this final concept from the source, because it really ties it all together. Self-respect. It says, dressing well is not vanity, it is self-respect. And that feels like a really significant reframe.
It changes the whole paradigm. We're taught, especially men, that caring about clothes is superficial, it's vain. But the source argues that if you show up sloppy, you're telling the world, I don't matter enough to make an effort. You're almost apologizing for your existence.
And by contrast, when you dress with aesthetics, with intention, you're signaling discipline.
Discipline and self-worth. You're telling the world, I have my life in order, and the feedback loop is real. When you treat yourself like a man of value, the world tends to agree with you. It goes right back to that enclothed cognition. You stand straighter, you speak more clearly.
It all comes back to that 1-second statistic we started with. You can't control what people think of you. People are going to judge no matter what.
But you can control the inputs. You can control the data you give them, the posture, the grooming, the silhouette.
So here's the challenge for you, the listener. We've talked about the history, the biology, the logo trap, the 3 archetypes, but we promised a final thought to chew on.
Right. We talk a lot about first impressions, but I want you to think about a concept I call visual integrity.
The visual integrity. Okay, that sounds serious.
Ask yourself this. If a stranger took a photo of you right now, without you knowing, and showed it to 100 people, would their description of the man in that photo match who you actually are on the inside?
Oof. That's the test.
That is the test. If you are a competent, smart, capable man, but your wardrobe says you're tired, careless, and apathetic, then you are living a lie. Your clothes are gossiping about you behind your back.
Your clothes are gossiping about you. That's the line.
They're constantly whispering to everyone who sees you. The goal of this entire deep dive is to stop letting them apologize for you and start making them introduce you.
Refined, rugged, or rakish. Pick your weapon, but use it on purpose. Thanks for diving in with us.
See you next time.